The next very important topic is structure of C program. In a C program, there are some rules how we need to write the code and how the others, those who are looking at our code, can understand very easily. In a given structure of C program, there are main steps. The first one is documentation section. The second one is link section. The third one is global declaration section. The fourth one is main function section. And the fifth one is user defined function section. If you see any C program, it falls under this particular structure. That is why we can say a C program is a structured program, right? The first one, in the documentation section. Documentation section is used for understanding who is the developer or the author of this particular code and from which region this person is writing the code, what is the problem statement behind this particular code. You can easily understand by seeing the problem statement. Okay, this problem statement needs to be written in two different ways. They are, the first one is single line comment. The second one is multi-line comment. The single line comment is represented by // that is double slash, followed by you write a content. It should be written in a single line. If you want to use for multiple lines, then the second one to represent the comment lines is represented by slash followed by star followed by the content whatever you want to write it may be in the multiple lines, followed by you need to close it with star and slash. So this is how you are going to write the multi-line comment, right? Next, the second one is link section. Link section, we are going to link the different libraries or header files what we need to use as part of our code. The very important link section libraries, again they are categorized into two types. The first one is include section. The second one is define section. We represent it with the help of a preprocessor directive called hash. The symbol is hash, preprocessor directive. We need to write it as hash include. Hash include, write it within the less than and the greater than sign what library you want to invoke as part of your particular program. Suppose if you are performing any mathematical operations, then we need to include a library called math.h. Similarly, if you are working with some string manipulation functions, there we need to use it as string.h within this less than and greater than sign. There are different header files. The first and foremost important header file is stdio.h. The abbreviation for this stdio.h is standard input output header file. Standard input output header file. Next we have conio.h. Console input output header file. Most of the editors and compilers, they are not accepting this conio.h because internally they have this clear screen functionality and immediately once you execute it, you are going to get the code. In the Turbo C editors, we used to use conio.h to clear the previous output with the help of clear screen function, CLR SCR followed by parenthesis and a semicolon. Next, in order to get an output, as soon as you execute it, get ch was another function. We don't want to use these two as part of the new compilers. Next, coming to the define section. In the define section, we can define the macro definitions. Macro definitions should be written within the uppercase. Suppose I want to define pi value. I can write it as hash define pi followed by the value 3.14. So hash define, give a space and write pi, give a space and initialize the value for it, that is 3.14, which means the value of pi wherever you want in the program you can use it, and that value will be 3.14. The next one is global declaration section. In the global declaration section, whatever you write it, those values or those functions you can access throughout the program. Whatever the identifiers or whatever the variables, values, whatever you initialize, those everything you can access throughout the program. So let us not think more about what are these identifiers or variables, that we can discuss in the later sessions. Now, in the global declaration section, whatever we write, it is used for accessing the contents throughout the program, which means we can access the variables or values within main function section, also within the user defined function section. That is the purpose of global declaration section. And this section is optional. It depends upon the scenario. Whereas the hash include section, that is very important and it is mandatory section. Next, coming to the main function section. In main function section, we have again two subcategories. One is initialization section and the other one is executable section. In the initialization section, we are going to use the different identifiers what we are going to use as part of our program and what is the type of the data we are going to use it. All the initializations as part of your code, they need to be written in the initialization section. And next, the executable part, which means the actual logic behind your program, can be written in the executable part. Followed by, we have a user defined function section, which in short we call it as UDF. These UDFs are used for writing the code once and accessing wherever we require by a function call. That we'll be discussing in detail when we go with the topic name called functions. Right? So this is the structure of a C program. Whenever you are going to write any program, please try to follow these rules of C program. And the one more important step is we need to also follow the indentation. So I'll also show you how to follow these indentation. Whenever you are writing the code, let us take a small program to display a message of hello world. So first, as part of the documentation section, I am going to write /* a C program to display a hello world message. Name, who is the author of this particular program? The author of this program, imagine I am writing as Aravind Kumar. And on what particular date that program was written, write a date. And next, what is the place from where he is writing the code? Because down the line, whenever we see as part of the product development, the code is being scattered in the different locations of the world, and we need to understand which person has written this particular code for the further reference, right? That everything we need to write it in the comment lines, that is in the multi-line comment. Next, hash include stdio.h. We are including the standard input output header file, which means we are writing some function which should follow the instructions given by the user, and it should be displayed on the screen. Next, we have a global declaration section. As part of this example, I am not considering this global declaration section as it is an optional. Next, coming to the main, you write int space main followed by the function, that is parenthesis. So this parenthesis symbol indicates it's a function. So main is one of the very important function, right? And each and every C program has only one main function. Okay, each and every C program has only one main function. We don't have multiple main functions. We have only one main function. Now, just open a curly brace. This is what we call it as a scope, or the compound statements enclosed within these curly braces. Now, open a curly brace. Immediately after the next line, give a tab space. Just you can hit a tab button which is present on the keyboard, which means you are going to get some space. Now, write what is the context what you want to display on the screen. That is hello world message. Write it printf. Printf. So we'll be seeing what is this printf in the later coming sessions. Printf is a function which is used to display the output on the screen. Whatever the message which is enclosed within the inverted commas, that content is going to be displayed on the screen. Now let us see here. Printf, open the bracket, inverted commas, next hello world message, next close the inverted commas and close the bracket and put a semicolon. So there are some of the rules when writing the code and instruction that we will be seeing in the later session. Next, we will be seeing the next line. It should be again given with a tab space. That is, give a tab space and write it as return space 0, close it with a semicolon and close the curly brace. So whenever this code is being visually seen by any other, not apart from you, everyone can easily understand. They can easily see. They can easily see where is the open and where is the close. Right? This is how we need to write the code with an indentation.